What is up, YouTube? Today is currently 12:17 a.m. and it's December 31st of 2025. So it's the last day of 2025, and 2025 has a lots of ups and has a lots of downs as well. So I wanna basically recap um, the whole year on this video. Right, so January, let's start with January, first day of the month, January 2025. What I was doing here is I still have my appointment setting job at this point, right? So back in 2024, I was doing, I was basically trying to improve my sales skills, right? Trying to improve my sales skills, and I went into um, the committed coaches company to do like closing for them. It went terrible. I was doing very bad. I didn't make any money from that company, to be honest, because I was just so bad. I only lasted like, I don't know, like a month and a half, I think, or 2 months. I don't know, maybe less. But I feel like I could have done better. Looking back at it, I was just really so bad at sales. I had so much anxiety doing sales call, doing um, how do you call that? The like, it's not cold calling, but like you calling to them, like outbound calling, something like that. So doing an outbound calling to them, and it was a tough position to be in. And then yeah, I left committed coaches because I got an appointment setting role, and I was hoping to do long term on that appointment setting role. Now I made good money for my country. I made good money here on the Philippines, here in the because I'm here in the Philippines, and I made decent money from that appointment setting role, and on the first few months. But I think the first 2 to 3 months was doing great, but then it went downhill after those first 3 months. So I was, money was getting very tight. I needed some cash in, and yeah, I went back doing the editing stuff. Went back on, and I also on that on the Q4 of 2024, I invested in Vince Oprah's mentorship to start this YouTube agency stuff. Get things rolling a bit better, and it was one of the best investments I've ever did, to be honest, because I've learned a lot. And then I also my clear the because of that mentorship, my path became much more clearer, right? And I will get more into that in a bit. So that was Q4 of 2024, right? Just to give context. And it was around November where I invested in Vince Oprah's mentorship. So around November 2024, and then January came, 2025 came in. I wanted to call in on my agency, but of course I still have my appointment setting job. And yeah, on January I'm still doing that appointment setting job, and at the same time also running my own agency, the YouTube agency from Bits Oprah at that point as well. I'm doing some lead gen. I am hiring lead gen people to help me with the edits, not edits, like the lead gen stuff, right? Because I was doing appointment setting, and I used that money to hire lead generators, right? So I'm pretty sure I was doing outreach at that point, right? So yeah, January was doing some outreach. I think I also had my first few calls on January. Yeah, but I didn't close any of them, and yeah, so I was doing outreach at that time. Okay, so January, basically I was doing outreach at that time for my YouTube agency. I'm also still doing my appointment setting job, and I hired like lead gen people to help me generate leads so I can outreach, do cold emails. I was doing cold emails at that time. And then I'm pretty sure I had a few calls, maybe one or two call on January, but I didn't close them. And yeah, that's for January. And then on February, I'm still doing the appointment setting job. But February, it's where I closed my very first YouTube client, right? So for my YouTube agency, it was actually very fast, within just November, December, January, February. It only took me 3 months to land that client. It was Lewis Thompson. Should be Lewis Thompson Milne, something along those lines. But yeah, he is my very first YouTube client. I closed him on the month of February. I'm still doing the appointment setting at that time, but I think I was like slowly losing my momentum on that appointment setting role. So yeah, I basically left. I will leave that. I will get more to that, but for the month of February, that's what happened. I closed my first YouTube client, and then what do I see here? I think I also hired another video editor to help me, but fast forward, I didn't really like working with that video editor. I even gave him testimonials, but to be honest, I didn't enjoy working with him, so I stopped. But I will get more into that later. Okay, and yeah, so February, closed my first YouTube client, and then hired another video editor. Okay, now March. Let's now move on to March. Okay, so March, I'm still doing the appointment setting, and then nothing really much happened here. I am, based on what I see, I'm still doing outreach. I'm still doing lead gen, hiring lead gen people, and I'm still working with the editor that I mentioned, with the new editor that I mentioned here. And then I also invested in Iman's 5-day event on March. Looking at on my financial sheet right now. So it was an event about YouTube because I really want to get good at YouTube. I closed my first YouTube client and I want him to get results. But unfortunately, that's one of the downsides. I didn't get him any results after like 3 or 4 months of worth of working with him. He did like my service though. He did like my editing service, but I just really didn't get him any results, which was tough. And March was also the time where I got my driver's license, which is pretty cool. Okay, and then on April, I'm still working with the editor. I'm still hiring lead gen. Okay, no, I'm in the month of April. Okay, and then yeah, it was a slow month for me on April. I'm still working with my YouTube client still though, and I'm still doing outreach here from what I can see. Okay, next one, May. So May, I'm still working with the other editor, and I also hired my brother to do some of videos for Anthony. So I think this was the first time where I'm helping my brother, or I'm paying my brother, which is really dope. So it was around May. Okay, so that's super cool. But on May, I landed another YouTube client. It was Gabor. It was Gabor Stram. Okay, and he helps people with their CPC exam, right? Or it was something about project management. So May, I landed my second YouTube client, and I think I also bought. Okay, so May is also the month where I bought Fazio. the motorcycle for mom. Okay, so that was the month of May, and it was also a bit slow month on May. Yeah, it was a slower month on May. Now June, I think June. Okay, so June. June, I had a lot of expense on June. I remember this month. To be honest. I had a lot of expenses on June. But June was actually a decent month. Okay, so I'm still working with my YouTube client here, Lubis, my first YouTube client. But I think I stopped working with Gabor at this point. I don't know why, because we honestly didn't do much videos with Gabor. Now my second YouTube client, I didn't do much work with him. I think I only did like 3 videos with him. So yeah. June was a month where I had lots of expenses. At the same time, it was a bit decent on the revenue, and I'm still working with my YouTube client. July, what happened here? Okay, on July, I then closed another YouTube client, and this is Zach now, or my third YouTube client. I'm still working with him at the time of recording. Hopefully we resume on January. I don't know, but looking at my financial sheet, I am still working with the other editor, which I didn't really like his work, but I think it was the month where I started working with my with my very first editor's brother, which I'm really happy with this service. Okay, so month of July, that is when it's a really great month on July. Okay, so it was a really great month on July. I had referrals. I had lots of referrals. I had my third YouTube client. I think some of my old clients also came back on July, which is really dope. Yeah, so July was a really great month for me. Again, July I had closed my third YouTube client. I had like lots of referrals. I think I had 2 referrals. Look in here. Yeah, I had 2, or actually I had 3 referrals on this month for short form content, not YouTube. And then one of my old client also came back and needed some videos, which is really dope. So yeah, July was a really great month. And then moving on to August. Let's see, August. It's also a good month on August. But at this point, I think my first and second YouTube clients, they started turning out. So I basically stopped working with them from what I remember. And then August, I was also I think at this point I was trying to hire new editors. Okay, I was trying to hire new editors. I was testing out sample edits for them, paying for sample edits, but it didn't really turn out really well. I didn't really like any of their sample edits. Looking at here, I sent 3 sample edits, or I paid for 3 sample edits, and I honestly didn't like any of them on this month. And I'm also interviewing them. So yeah, August is the month where I'm trying to find another video editor, right? And even investing in YT jobs posting in this month, each cost me $50, right? So yeah, August, in terms of revenue, it looks really good, but this is the month where I'm trying to hire video editors. And it was also my anniversary with my girlfriend this month, so yeah, super cool. We went to Makati this month. It was a really memorable month for me, and yeah, it was one of my best months on this year. And then September. Now let's move on to September. This is where I then so September I hired my first thumbnail designer. Yep, I hired my first designer, and I also hired another video editor, which I actually really like his work, but unfortunately there's just some things that didn't work out. Like I think he's a Muslim, so he was cutting out some words from clients, but he was cutting out some parts on the YouTube which I didn't want to be removed because it was against his religion. So there was a lot of conflict that happened. He was a really great editor, but unfortunately it just didn't work out. And this is also the month where I was thinking of, like, I think this month I was like contemplating if I even still want to do the if I still want to do the YouTube agency stuff, because I had a lot of pricing issues. I couldn't really outsource because I didn't really have enough how do you call this? I didn't have enough capital to invest, because I was really pricing that high. So what I did here is I invested in the course. The Max Pearson's course cost me a lot, to be honest. It cost me like $5,000, and then and because my thought process here is I wanted to create a YouTube channel, and that YouTube channel will be used for me to create my own case study out of it, right? And me basically creating a channel so that when people ask, hey, what's your proof that you actually do what you're saying, and then I'm going to show them that YouTube channel, right? And my thought process was really here is like creating maybe I'm getting a bit shiny syndrome with creating an editing course, but I'm actually running the editing course right now at the school. Now this month is also good in terms of revenue. I didn't put enough info on my expenses here, but I see that I did invest in a thumbnail designer during this month of September. Okay, now so now let's move on to October, and this is when I then invested in another course. Damn. Okay, so just the month of September I invest in to Max Pearson's course, and then in October I invested in another course because I wanted to get really good at closing deals when it comes to video editing, doing DM conversations, doing outreach. I wanted to have a proven process that I can do first. So that's why I invested in that in Jack Cole's Inner Circle, because the thought process here is so the thought process is I wanted to create a YouTube channel about video editing, right? But I don't want it to just be video editing. I want it to be a channel where I talk about like business side of freelancing or video editing, right? So which is learning sales frameworks, DM scripts, and proven outreach messages, lead gen, right? So I want to get that really dialed in. So that's why I bought Jack Cole's course, so that I can then turn that skills into the course that I'm making, right? So when I dial in my sales skills for video editing, then I can make content about that and even make a school community about that potentially, right? So that's what I'm doing, and that's what I did. So but on the month of October, in terms of revenue, it's not It's quite good, not as good as September, right? So yeah, that's the month of October. November, this then I think October I basically stopped working with the thumbnail designer that I hired, because like even though his thumbnails look good, it's not the quality that I'm looking for. And then I think this also months where I basically just stopped working with the editor that I mentioned that I didn't like his work. Right. So I'm back on square one on October, to be honest. Let me see. Yeah, I'm kind of back on square one on October, and and on month of November in terms of revenue, it looks good. Revenue looks good on the month of November, and last month I also got an inbound lead, which is Kai Law, and where I did a BSL for him, and he really liked the edit that I made for him, which is really cool, and he referred me to some potential clients, which is dope. And on the month of November, I also invested in Joseph's Ultimate Editors School Community, and this is for my little brother, so that he can improve his editing skills, learn some outreach stuff. And yeah, month of November is also the month where I think I started posting more YouTube videos, right? So yeah, I think around October, November is the months where I'm building out my course on my school community, and use those courses as well are or those courses are also turned into YouTube videos, right? Or actually, it's the opposite. They're YouTube videos that I turn them into these course modules on my school community. And so that is for the month of October, November, and then December. Yeah, and this December, I'm basically doing lots of outreach this December, but at the same time, it was one of my slowest months. December was one of my slowest months, but at the same time, I think January is going to be big for me, 2026, because I have, because as you know, I'm doing outreach, really dialing in my outreach for the video editing service. And I got like how many potential clients I have right now. So I think I have, let me see. So I have 4. So I have 5 potential clients coming on January. And then actually one is already they verbally said to me that they want to work with me starting on January 15th, and it is Johnny and Yusuf from Propane Fitness. Their company name is Propane Fitness. And yeah, we'll see if things really do go well, or if I actually close them as clients, because I don't consider them as clients as long as they paid me. But they did invite me to their Telegram channel with their team, with the founders, with the old video editor. They did add me to their Telegram chat, and yeah, so it's looking pretty good for Johnny and Yusuf. So yeah, that's for the month of December. December is a really slow month, but yeah. So Q1 of or Q1 of 2025, basically it's me doing outreach. So Q1 of 2025, my highlights there is that I quit my appointment setting job. I landed my first YouTube client, and yeah, and just me trying to really learn the YouTube stuff, right? And then Q2 of 2025, that is me still doing outreach for my YouTube service, and I also landed my second YouTube client on Q2 of 2025. And then it's also me having lots of expenses on Q2 of 2025. Now Q3 of 2025, it is where, wait, when did I buy? Okay, so Q2 is also the month where I bought the motorcycle for my mother, which is dope. Okay, and so Q3 of 2025, it's me landing my third YouTube client, and then also me investing in the course from Max Person. Also, one of my best months, or actually Q4 alone, Q3 alone was my very best. Was my very best months in terms of revenue. Okay, so yeah, Q3 really good in terms of revenue, and then Q4 it's actually really slow. Q4 really slow, but Q4 is one of my learnings, or one of the months where I'm really learning the YouTube game, learning more about like funnels, learning more about outreach, sales, and me really getting dialed in on my basically offer, and I think I am very clear right now on what I want to do. I still want to do the agency thing. It's just right now it's more about getting good at the service, and then gathering case studies, and me having that clarity that when doing outreach, it's important to provide value first, and that is where people can trust you if you have zero case studies. Okay, so yeah, I went a lot here, so that's basically my whole year. It's a lot of learnings. I think things go very fast though. Things move very fast, and I am always switching decisions. I am always like trying to change directions, but right now it's very clear on what I want to do, and I won't be able to come up with that conclusion if I didn't do the stuff that I did for this year. So I'm grateful for this year. Now I have 3 main goals that I want to do for 2026. Okay, and I wrote it down. So 2026 for me is, of course, I want to grow my YouTube channel to 10,000 subscribers. I know 10,000 subscribers is a lot, but I just need like 2 really good videos that's going to blow up my channel, and I believe that it's all 2 videos is all I need to take for me to get my channel to 10k subs. Just two really good viral videos, okay? And then I want to earn like 5k months through video editing. That's my second one. And then third is just make the best free editing course on School. Those are my 3 main objectives for 2026. And I'm a lot more clear now on the stuff that I need to do. But yeah, so I guess my biggest learning or my biggest turning point, or what do you call this, my biggest lesson for 2025 is getting clear on what I want to do. I think that's my highlight for 2025, because I was trying to do this agency stuff, and I started feeling like, man, do I really want to do this, or actually no, it's that finding out what I want to do, and then it's finding out what I want to do, and then figuring out the real problems. To be honest, I don't even know. I think I don't really have one big lesson, because there are like a lot of lessons for 2025. But for me, it's when it comes to business, like, hey, you have to be really, you have to be married to the game, you know, for the to the married to the game that you have chosen. And I have chosen content marketing. And the reason why I'm struggling to really hit my financial goals is I don't just have enough proof. I am not that good yet. And that is why I think building on my YouTube channel is going to be a game changer once I do that, or as long as I get better creating YouTube videos and also servicing my clients, then it's going to be an easy win. Like, that's all I really need. It's going to be an easy fucking win. So yeah. Yeah. 2026. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in 2026. What do I want to talk more about? So, what do I want to talk more about on this video? I don't know. It's just me giving a summary. If I give a rating for my 2025 in terms of my business, I would rate it as 5 out of 10. And then in terms of like personal, like, you know, relationships and all that, it's a 10 out of 10. So I think if we mix it up, I think we turn out 7 out of 10 if we combine them both. So 2025 was a good year for me, you know, and I'm very grateful for God because, you know, I still have my family all together. I still have my girlfriend, and I'm also feel like I am getting better as a man, but I still have lots of stuff to learn. I still haven't reached my physique. I still haven't reached my dream physique. I still haven't reached my financial goals, and I still haven't reached the freedom that I want. So I still have a lot of stuff that I need to work on. But yeah, that is it for the video. I think if I have a lot of other stuff that I want to talk about, then I'll post another video. But yeah, Happy New Year to whoever's watching this. I hope you also had a great New Year, or I hope you had a great year on 2025. If not, 2026 is another year for us to try. We either reach our goals, or we either reach our goals, or we die trying.